Incredible twist. City cop discovers black man is a U.S. Marshal. $900K lawsuit revealed. Michael Harris trudged through the rain-soaked streets of Chicago, the familiar weight of his badge resting heavily against his chest. Guardian of his community, he thought, as he glanced at the darkened alleyway ahead, where shadows blended into uncertainty. Duty pulsed through him, but beneath that surface lay uneasiness, the nagging sensation that he carried biases he could not fully confront. Each step crunched against the damp pavement, the sound swallowed by the gray overcast. He kept his gaze ahead, but the faces of onlookers layered with suspicion haunted him. Did they see him as protector or oppressor? Tension crackled in the air like distant thunder. He turned the corner, responding to a robbery call amidst echoes of shattered glass. The sight of a figure in a hoodie caught his eye. A tall man, standing calmly near the scene. Jamal Carter, he noted, found himself swathed in suspicion, the encroaching darkness amplifying Michael's unease. "What are you doing here?" he barked, words spilling out before he could catch his breath, a reflex born from years of policing marginalized neighborhoods. "Just a bystander, officer," Jamal replied, his voice steady yet tinged with an edge that raised Michael's alertness even further. A chain of doubt clutched at Michael's throat. Dark skin and a hoodie could easily fit the profile of someone caught in crime. His fists tightened as he approached, internal conflict churning violently. Who was he to judge? Yet the weight of preconceived biases hung over him like a storm cloud. He couldn't shake it off. Before their exchange could escalate, Jamal revealed something shocking. He was an undercover U.S. Marshal. An investigation into the very corruption infecting the police force loomed over them. The words hit Michael like cold rain against skin, shock ringing in his ears. A lawsuit for $900,000 against the city for discrimination, almost like a punch to the gut. The walls he'd built around himself began to crack. All he could question was whether he had stood on the right side of justice or inadvertently contributed to the very injustices Jamal sought to eradicate. Michael hesitated, grappling with the onslaught of emotions roiling within. Could he truly parse his allegiance to the badge from the truths swirling at his feet? The stories whispered among his colleagues, rumors of dark dealings and hidden agendas, suddenly transformed from smoke to flame, igniting his anxieties. He opened his mouth to speak, but words eluded him, leaving a dense silence surrounding both men that felt almost oppressive. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Their dialogue transformed into an electric back and forth, barbs traded like fists in a ring. Jamal's fight was palpable. It radiated off him like heat from a fire. For every accusation and defensive tone from Michael, Jamal countered with measured truths about the pain baked into systemic injustice. The realization clawed at Michael's beliefs. He studied the other man's eyes. Not just a stranger, not just a hooded figure. Someone who had carried battles unseen. A mirror reflecting the bifurcated soul of his city and the division he had sworn to mend. Then came the shock. The latest call skipped into his radio, breaking their tension-filled exchange. "Officer Harris, respond to a possible altercation downtown." The urgency bubbled up his spine, but his heart raced not from the call alone. It was the collision of revelations that had just unleashed between him and Jamal. How deep did this corruption go? Could he unravel it from within, while staring into the depths of his own prejudice? As he started to retreat, exiting the moment that had begun to reshape him, despair mingled with determination. Could he truly expose the depth of betrayal that loomed within the department? Would the truth set him free, or tear apart everything he believed he'd fought for? The rain continued to pour, soaking him to the bone, but it couldn't wash away the conflict churning in his heart. This was just the beginning of a transformation he both feared and craved. Michael raced toward downtown, the urgency of the radio call propelling him forward. Rain lashed against his face, each drop splattering against his skin like cold reality. The city blurred around him, but his mind replayed Jamal's words, the challenge embedded within them wrestling for dominance with his instincts. The badge, the authority, it all felt heavy and burdensome, as if it were becoming a shackle on his identity. Arriving at the scene, he saw a small crowd gathered around two men shouting, fists raised, tempers flaring. He maneuvered through the throng, heart beating erratically, a mix of adrenaline and the electric tension of self-doubt coursing through him. "All right, break it up," he barked as he approached, signaling the need for order. Yet his authority yielded little respect. The two men barely flinched at his presence. They were too wrapped in their confrontation, ensnared in their own worlds. Michael felt the wave of being an outsider wash over him, a sense of professional impotence igniting frustration. He drew a steadying breath and scanned the faces in the crowd, searching for support. A familiar face, perhaps, but all he found were curious glances, questions molded into expressions that mirrored the public's growing distrust. He took a step forward, ready to intervene, determined to assert control over a tumultuous situation. But then he registered the odd sensation of futility. What was the use of imposing his will when the very trust that forged connections was crumbling from beneath him? He had always believed he served as the beacon of support, protecting his community. But now it felt like a sick irony. One of the men raised a hand to striking distance and instinct kicked in. Michael stepped between them, the badge glinting under the streetlights. His voice, though strained, resonated with authority. "Enough! You both need to stand down." The crowd hesitated, stirred by his sudden presence but not by his words. Instead, his intervention provoked more ire, distrust bubbling to the surface. "You think you're better than us? Just because you wear that badge?" One man shouted, taking a cautious step toward Michael, eyes ablaze with accusation. A tremor ran through Michael. He had often encountered animosity during his patrols, but something was different this time. The words felt like a reflection of his own bubbling conflict, a catalyst igniting the doubts simmering beneath his badge. Did he really embody the protection he professed, or was he another layer of a system deeply flawed? "Hey!" His voice rang out again, staunch and unwavering. "Step back! This is not the way!" But even as his words echoed, he felt a split within himself, half wanting to assert his authority, and half fearing the backlash that could come from it. The crowd simmered, their energy transforming from chaos to curiosity as they awaited his next move. Suddenly, he felt a hand on his shoulder, a familiar warmth. Turning, he locked eyes with Jamal, who emerged through the throng like a lifeline. "You're in over your head, Michael. It's not about the badge. It's about the trust. They're not your enemies. They want to be heard," he urged quietly but firmly. The juxtaposition of his own authority and Jamal's raw honesty muddled Michael further. In that fraught moment, he realized the urgency wasn't just about the fight before him. It acted as a mirror reflecting the struggles within him. He was at the precipice of change, poised between professional duty and personal growth. Could he learn a new approach, one grounded in transparency and dialogue instead of confrontation? Jamal's eyes urged him to reconsider how he wielded his power, the implications of the lawsuit, the layers of corruption. Was it possible they were all interconnected? A decision loomed on the horizon. The time had come to face not only the chaos at hand, but the very essence of who he was becoming. A protector, or a pawn in a broken system. He looked back to the men still at the center of conflict, then to Jamal, and realized the groundwork for transformation was right beneath his feet. He had a choice. He took a deep breath, finding that spark of resolve. "Let's talk," he called to the crowd, his voice steadier than before. "Let's figure this out together." Jamal nodded, approval washing over his features, and for the first time, Michael felt the weight of his badge shift, less a burden, more a tool for real change. As the crowd hushed, sensing his shift in tone, Michael recognized the possibilities ahead. But beneath it all lurked another shadow, the simmering danger of what awaited them, and how far-reaching the corruption could be. "Together we make the change," he declared, the words escaping him almost as a vow. The crowd stirred, and within him, a fire sparked anew. Would they rally or would they retreat into their suspicions? And what hidden truths would arise as he ventured further, navigating the turbulent waters of justice? The challenge had only just begun. The air thickened with anticipation as Michael stood amidst the murmuring crowd, hearts beating in sync with the gravity of the moment. Every face mirrored confusion and curiosity, some mixed with skepticism. This wasn't merely about the two men, a fight condensed into a capsule of distrust. It was a crucible for his latent convictions. The badge on his chest, which had been a token of authority, now glimmered like a double-edged sword. He could hear the rain tapering off, and for a fleeting moment, it felt like the world paused, waiting for him to step beyond the role he had always played, the enforcer of the law. His mind raced, a whirlwind of Jamal's wisdom and his own instincts colliding. Was it really just about enforcing rules, or was there deeper work to be done? "Step forward," he urged, his voice now softer, more inviting. "Let's express what each of you is feeling. Two men against each other means a community divided, not just two individuals. Talk to me." The words hung in the damp air as he took slow steps toward the men, determination coursing through him. The crowd's attention intensified, drawn by the unexpected shift from commanding authority to a collaborative plea. One of the men, a wiry guy with deep-set eyes, glanced at his companion, confusion flickering. "Why should we explain ourselves to you? You've never cared," he spat. But Michael could sense the hesitation in his tone. "You're right," he replied, facing the harsh truth of those words. "I've been part of the problem, but I want to change that. I want to listen." His sincerity locked gaze with the man's disbelief, a silent spark igniting between them. A low murmur cascaded through the crowd, and Michael seized the moment. "We are not enemies. I refuse to be just a badge and a gun. I want to understand your frustrations, your needs. Help me so I can help you." The crowd, previously hostile, began to shift restlessly. A woman emerged, her voice shaking but firm. "Why now? Why should we trust you?" "Because I don't want to distance myself any longer," Michael confessed, his soul vulnerable. "Fear has kept us apart. Let's confront it together." His heart hammered in his chest as he recognized the weight of his words. Trust, an elusive currency in a city riddled with scars. Could he truly forge a path forward, or was he merely grasping at the shadows of reform? Jamal stepped closer, his pride evident as he nodded in support. "You're doing it, Mike. Stay with them." Michael felt a profound validation flow through him, tethered from Jamal's unwavering belief in his potential. The arguments melted into a dialogue as tensions slowly ebbed away. The two men began to share their grievances, frustrations spilling forth like bitter rain. Michael absorbed each word, wanting to understand the specifics of their pain without rushing to conclusions or defenses. This was a process, not a quick fix. With each exchange, Michael's perspective shifted. The badge felt lighter, the burden instead tuned to a purpose, redefining his path. He could become a mediator, a facilitator, rather than a hammer ready to swing. The crowd began to form a circle around them, demonstrating solidarity, eager to join in the conversation. But just as certainty washed over him, his phone vibrated violently against his thigh, an urgent reminder of the greater battle at play. He pulled it from his pocket, glancing at an incoming message from his captain. The words stopped him cold. "Investigate Jamal. Possible federal connections." Reality crashed down as he realized that there were layers of corruption wrapped in his already puzzling world. Was Jamal truly who he seemed? And how did this overarching lawsuit intertwine with the people he tried to engage? The weight of unresolved questions loomed heavier than ever as he stood at the heart of the shifting dynamics. Adversity had only just started to unfurl. Michael locked eyes with Jamal, uncertainty flooding him. "Stay with them," Jamal urged softly. Not knowing the breach unfolding beneath the surface, yet Michael could feel it, the tempest brewing on the horizon. What was this implication uncovering? The shields of loyalty were about to be tested. and for the first time his duality of protector and participant felt dangerously intertwined. Could he balance the charge of revelation without setting fire to what he might build? The time for reckoning was at hand, the confrontation of what was real and what wasn't fast approaching. In that moment, he knew that the real challenge was yet to come. The noise of the crowd faded as Michael stared at his phone, the digital glow illuminating a world of confusion and doubt that he hadn't anticipated. The captain's text had unlatched a door he had hoped would remain sealed. He felt the weight of a decision bearing down on him, the paradoxical tension between loyalty and justice swirling in his chest. "Michael, are you okay?" Jamal's voice sliced through his reverie, pulling him back to the present. Michael looked up, forcing a smile that felt more like a mask. "I need to handle something," he replied, the urgency in his voice cloaked in uncertainty. Every instinct told him to unravel the mystery surrounding Jamal, yet everything he had witnessed tonight pushed him to resist. Did he truly want to betray the bond they had begun to forge? "Just keep doing what you're doing," Jamal said, somewhat oblivious to the storm brewing inside Michael. "You've got this." As the crowd engaged in impassioned dialogue, Michael withdrew slightly, taking a moment to breathe. This was supposed to be his moment of transformation, yet it felt marred by the shadow of investigative duties he hadn't signed up for. Should he expose Jamal? Risk the fragile connections he had started to build? The uncertainty churned within him. What did he hope to achieve in stepping into the shadows of investigation? Did he truly believe he could uphold the law when the very spirit of it called for reform? The disconnect nestled deeply. "Why are you hesitating?" he whispered to himself as he paced away from the circle. Only moments ago he had felt empowered, now he was drowning in doubt. The badge was supposed to provide clarity, yet the opposite unfolded. He needed to act. His situation demanded he confront the looming suspicion that threatened to engulf him. Quickly typing out a response, he attempted to devise a plan to discover the truth, while wrestling with the treasonous notion of investigating a man who had shown him a better way to connect. "Deep breath, Michael. Control the impulse. Talk to the community, gather insight," he muttered, returning to the growing group encircling the conflict. Trust was the foundation he had to cultivate. If he opened up the lines of communication, real healing could begin. In cases like these, however, the line between protector and potential adversary often blurred. "So what happens now, officer?" asked a woman, her eyes penetrating. The crowd's enthusiasm was contagious. They were ready to be heard. "I want to bring this team together," he began carefully, projecting a confidence he scarcely felt. "Let's get to the root of what's really causing the anger and resentment." Voices began merging again, and he listened carefully, absorbing each grievance like threads weaving a narrative tapestry. Yet as the discourse deepened, the pit in his stomach widened. What if he couldn't balance both his obligation to the law and his evolving role as advocate? Then Jamal stepped forward, addressing the group with calm conviction. "We need to speak honestly. This isn't just about blame. It's about understanding." Michael watched him, admiration and uncertainty battling within. Jamal was swimming against the current, while Michael questioned whether he could join him, let alone sustain the flow. But as he observed the crowd shift from anger to contemplation, determination surfaced in Michael's heart once more. Maybe through genuine dialogue they could arrive at something significant. Just as Michael felt he had a grip on his direction, the phone buzzed again, another stark reminder that clarity was often short-lived. He pulled it out, and the name at the top sent a chill racing down his spine. It was Jamal. The urgency of the message filled him with dread and curiosity. "Meet me at the old warehouse now," it read. What awaited him there? Revelation or confrontation? The prevalence of uncertainty loomed around him like fog, thickening with each step he decided to take. Michael's heart raced, for he sensed that entering that warehouse might just reveal the fundamental truths of his entire world. He pushed through the crowd, resolving to confront whatever lay ahead. The revelation would change everything, but would he emerge with clarity or chaos? The answer awaited him in the shadows, as he braced himself for the journey ahead. The old warehouse loomed ahead, a a crumbling facade against the darkening sky. Once bustling with life, its silence felt ominous, weighted with secrets waiting to be unearthed. Michael's heart pounded as he approached, the shadows playing tricks on his mind, whispering warnings he struggled to ignore. His thoughts darted between hope and dread. What truth lay behind that door? He wiped his sweaty palms down his pants, feeling the need to project control, even as his insides twisted with apprehension. With a deep breath, he pushed through the side entrance, the creaking of the door echoing in the empty space. Inside, the air was thick with dust, illuminated by beams of light attempting to pierce through broken windows. There, silhouetted against the light, stood Jamal, arms crossed, an expression of resolve etched on his face. "Michael," Jamal called out, his voice a ballast in the oppressive atmosphere. "Thanks for coming." "What's going on?" Michael asked, trying to keep his tone steady. "Why here?" Jamal gestured for him to step further inside. "There are things we need to discuss, things that go beyond what has been happening on the streets." As Michael moved closer, the gravity in Jamal's eyes intensified. It was clear that the conversation was not just about him, but also about the impending storms in their lives. "Why me, Jamal?" Michael pressed, needing clarity amid the swirling uncertainty. "You could have gone to anyone with this. Because you're different," Jamal replied, sincerity cutting through the tension. "You've shown a willingness to see things through the lens of humanity. That's rare in our line of work. But I need you to trust me. It's critical." Michael's instincts flared warning bells, but beneath those alarms simmered a curiosity that yearned to engage in this deeper conversation. "I'm listening. Let's start with your understanding of justice," Jamal said, taking a step forward. "You've been put in the position of enforcing laws that were never created to protect everyone equally. Think about the people outside. They're not just numbers or statistics. They want their voices to matter." Michael's pulse quickened. Every interaction he had seen, every face he had memorized began exploding into clarity. There was more at stake here than overlaying his badge with personal purpose. "Then how do I serve them?" Michael asked, the weight of the inquiry resting heavily on his shoulders. "By enabling change," Jamal responded, leaning in with intensity. "But first, you need to confront your own biases. What do you believe justice is? And how far are you willing to go to redefine it?" Jamal's question struck at the very core of Michael's professional identity. It was as if each word was a mirror reflecting back truth he wasn't prepared to accept. He needed more than just conversations. He needed action. His mind raced, weaving plans together that still felt nebulous. "I want to help," Michael finally declared, realizing that this was not just about his job, but about his evolution as a person. "Show me how." Jamal nodded, the flicker of appreciation in his eyes igniting a flicker of hope in Michael's heart. "Meet me here tomorrow night. I'll lay it all out for you. We have a lot to unravel." "Wait," Michael interjected. "Unravel what exactly?" The unease coiled back, reminding him of the complexity ahead. "Your understanding of me, of what lies beneath the surface," Jamal replied, his voice firm yet patient. In that moment, a rush of clarification washed over Michael. He realized he was at a pivotal juncture, where every decision could lead him closer to the outcome he feared, or the one he aspired to fulfill. As Jamal turned to leave, Michael's mind spiraled with the implications of the next night. The risk was palpable, but so was the promise of growth. Engaging with another layer of truth about Jamal could shatter everything he believed to be right. An expectation that could redefine both their destinies. Would he step fully into this new world, or would the constraints of his badge pull him back into familiar habits? The answers swirled in the air like the dust motes caught in the shafts of light. As the warehouse door closed behind him, Michael felt a quiet determination settle within him. But doubts clawed at the edges of his resolve. What actual legacy would he build, and at whose expense? He walked back out into the night, the horizon alive with possibilities and perils, ready to face whatever awaited him at dawn. The reckoning would come quickly, and with it, the potential for resolution or disarray. The dust from the old warehouse hung heavy in the air, but it wasn't just the remnants of abandonment that filled Michael's lungs. It was the weight of realization. Each step he took away from the building felt as though he was walking on the thinnest of wires, balancing between the life he had always known and the one beckoning him from the shadows. As Michael navigated the dimly lit alleyways leading back to his car, his mind replayed every word Jamal had imparted. The notion of justice, once a black and white concept defined by rules and regulations, had suddenly morphed into a kaleidoscope of perspectives that he had never taken into account. A gnawing sense of urgency pushed him forward. He could no longer ignore the nagging ache deep within him, a desire for purpose that transcended law enforcement's rigid confines. It wasn't just about upholding the law for him anymore. It was about understanding the people behind those laws and, more critically, the stories they carried. Sliding into the driver's seat, Michael grasped the steering wheel, its coldness grounding him momentarily. He glanced at himself in the rearview mirror, searching for some sign that this was merely a fleeting moment of confusion rather than a calling. But the strength of his own gaze told him otherwise. He needed to confront the discomfort he felt, dismantling it piece by piece. In the solitude of his car, Michael mentally outlined what he hoped to discuss with Jamal that night. It required more than intellectual acknowledgement of bias. It needed action, tangible steps toward engaging those he had always considered as the other. His phone buzzed, a message from Jamal. "Don't forget, the past doesn't dictate the future. See you soon." The words felt like both a challenge and a lifeline. Jamal was not asking him merely to listen. He was imploring him to step into unfamiliar territory, to rethink assumptions hardened over years on the force. This was a route fraught with conflict, but Michael felt an emerging tenacity stirring within him. Arriving back home, he sat at the kitchen table, blank pages before him, akin to the myriad paths open to him. What would he write? Notes for the conversation? Questions to challenge himself? He uncapped a pen, the ink flowing onto the paper as if it had been waiting all along for the right moment. He drafted bullet points on every bias he had wrestled with, the internal dialogues that resonated, the truths he dared not confront. Under every title, he began penning specific encounters that had shaped his views, from dealing with petty thefts to larger drug busts that had left families shattered. "Can I be a catalyst for change?" he penned, repeating the question like a mantra. Each line drew him deeper into self-examination. He knew he couldn't emerge from this alone. The stakes had never felt higher, yet the endeavor seemed invigorating. As night crept in, Michael donned a jacket, which felt more like armor than attire. He was readying himself for battle, not against an external foe, but against the confines of his own conditioning. The walk to the warehouse was eerily tranquil, feet crunching on gravel. His phone buzzed again. It was Jamal. "Are you ready?" "More than ever," Michael replied, determination flickering behind the words. He arrived to find Jamal, shadows in the moonlight deepening the contours of his face. "Tonight is important," Jamal began, his tone bordering on reverential. "You're about to unearth truths not just about me, but about yourself. Can you accept that change is messy?" Michael nodded, the realities of what lay before him settling into focus. He took a moment, inhaling the cool night air, grounding himself for the urgent work ahead. The stranglehold of the badge felt lighter, giving way to something more significant, an emerging purpose. But just as the path ahead widened, a sensation seized him. The conversation was dynamic. It mattered in ways he hadn't fully grasped before. "Let's begin," he replied, his voice steady, yet charged with anticipation. The light in the warehouse flickered beyond the cracked glass, illuminating paths he never thought he'd dare to walk. Could he truly redefine justice within himself, confronting biases so deeply entrenched that they felt like second nature? As they stepped inside, the door creaking ominously once more, Michael knew. He was on the precipice of transformation, a journey that might redefine not just his career but his very identity. Would he find the courage to venture into the gritty realities of justice, or would he falter at the first hurdle of discomfort? The conversation awaited, a storm brewing within the peace that had enveloped him. The first words from Jamal cut through the stillness of the warehouse like a serrated knife. "This isn't just a conversation, Michael. It's a revelation." With those 4 words, a fissure opened inside Michael. He took a deep breath, feeling the tension knotting in his stomach. The stakes were no longer confined to a mere discussion about biases and justice. They had escalated into something that could fundamentally redefine his identity, his career, everything he thought he had controlled. "Tell me what you mean," Michael responded, his voice calm but edged with curiosity. He recalled the weight of the badge still resting on his chest as he let Jamal lead him deeper into the space. Shadows danced along the walls, and every slight echo felt like an invitation to explore the chasms within his own understanding. In the center of the room stood a table laden with documents, dusty yet organized, each piece a testament to stories long forgotten by the system Michael served. Jamal's fingers brushed the edges, his eyes burning with intensity. These are the truths that exist beyond the scope of police work. They reveal lives, complexity, and systemic failures. They expose the root of bias. Michael's heart raced. The words caught in his throat as he examined a photograph atop the pile. A group of kids playing on a street corner, a smile frozen in time. "What is this?" he asked, leaning closer, hunger bubbling within him. "This represents thousands of lives affected by misjudgments. You see smiles, but behind that frame are stories entangled with despair and hope, neither visible in your reports nor captured in calls for service." Jamal's voice lowered, almost conspiratorial. "You must see beyond the badge. It's deeper than just enforcing laws." As he studied the images, Michael began to connect dots that had always been obscured by the rigid framework of law enforcement. Each image tugged at a different memory, reminding him of the faces he had encountered, specifically those he sought to understand as mere statistics. He felt dizzy with the weight of realization flooding his thoughts. "Do you think you can deal with this duality? The fact that your role plays a part in these stories?" Jamal probed, observing how the images rattled Michael's carefully constructed beliefs. Each question struck harder than the last, fraying the edges of Michael's facade. Could he continue honoring a system that marginalized so many? His mind raced, summoning the gruesome details of past arrests, the names of individuals reduced to suspects who had lived lives beyond the labels, beyond the laws. "I can't ignore this," he finally admitted, the words escaping like a secret he could no longer hold. "I can't continue this way." "You'll have to confront those at the top," Jamal replied with conviction. "The discrepancies in how justice is served beg for attention. Even your own department carries the weight of responsibility. Are you ready to be a catalyst, risking your comfort?" A chill shot through Michael, freezing him for a moment. The confrontation he had more than craved now loomed as a terrifying possibility. "I have to be ready." Despite the fear, a determination surged within him, forcing him to restructure his understanding of loyalty, ethics, and duty. As he glanced at the documents, Jamal stepped back, allowing him to absorb the enormity of it all. "Tonight is only the beginning," he stated. "But can you handle what's next? The revelations might force you to confront ties that bind you to the very biases you've sought to dismantle." Michael's palms trembled slightly as he reached for a folder, flipping it open to reveal the rough history of interactions between communities and law enforcement. Each stat echoed painfully in his mind, underscoring truths more harrowing than he anticipated. The sense of control he once wielded as an officer now felt frail and tenuous. "I want to find a solution, to mend these threads," Michael asserted, voice steady despite the turmoil inside. "But how do I begin?" Jamal leaned in closer. "Meet those affected. Hear their stories directly. Only then can you challenge the ways you've been conditioned to serve. Are you ready to dismantle your own biases?" The gravity of Jamal's question lingered, igniting a fire beneath Michael's resolve. He was aware there would be repercussions, but could he truly dismantle a structure he'd helped maintain? Their eyes locked, two men standing on divergent paths converging towards a single uncertain future. "Let's do this," Michael declared, his heart pounding with anticipation and fear. The walls around him felt both like a prison and a liberation. And just as he felt the first stirrings of confidence, Jamal's phone buzzed, breaking the moment. The screen lit up with a message that froze both their breaths. There lay a name Michael recognized all too well. A name associated not just with cases, but with a personal threat that felt uncomfortably close. The time has come to face those I've shunned, Michael realized, unable to shake the sensation knitting doubt into his resolve. Would he be able to confront this antagonist in his life, or would past fears resentfully surface once more? Michael braced himself. The wind of change was drawing nearer. The phone's vibration echoed in the hollow space, shattering the weight of the moment between Michael and Jamal. A cold sweat formed at Michael's brow as he stared at the name flashing on the screen. The dread clawed at his insides, pulling him back to memories he had kept purposely buried. He felt a mix of apprehension and resolve, the dichotomy reflecting the growing turmoil within him. "Michael, what's wrong?" Jamal's voice cut through his thoughts, pierced by concern. The determination in Michael's eyes quickly morphed into a storm of conflicting emotions. "It's him. It's Jackson," Michael said, voice trembling as if he were admitting something sinister. "He's been in my department as long as I've been. It didn't end well." Jamal's brows furrowed, grounding Michael from spiraling into past mistakes. "You need to face this. It's part of the reckoning you mentioned earlier." "Reckoning?" Michael echoed, both intrigued and terrified. The word carried weight. Every syllable translated into a challenge, a plunge into uncharted territory. A moment sparked between them, an electric realization. This wasn't just about understanding bias from a philosophical or statistical standpoint. It was personal. Jackson embodied everything Michael had recoiled from in the profession: resentment, entrapment, and the ever-simmering potential for conflict. Confronting him would be more than mere words. It would require an admission of Michael's failures. "I need to know why he was targeted," Michael finally stated, gripping the edge of the table as if it could anchor him to sanity. "The charges were unfounded. I beat myself up over how I handled the arrest, but perhaps there was something deeper at play." Jamal leaned closer, his expression serious. "It seems like you're questioning both your past actions and the system that allowed them. That's a powerful step, Michael. But will you be prepared for what you might have to confront in Jackson?" Anxiety crawled up Michael's spine. What if he doesn't want to talk? What if he sees me? I'm still wearing the badge, that damn emblem of everything. Then show him you've changed. Be aware you aren't just confronting a person. You're stepping into a larger conversation about justice and accountability. Jamal stepped back, folding his arms as if preparing for Michael's forthcoming decision. Michael realized this wasn't an act of bravery confined to his personal narrative. It was professional vulnerability, threatened yet necessary. His identity had been tethered to the badge, but now it was becoming more complex. He could choose to confront the darkness within and outside of himself. "All right then, I'll meet him. But I have to do it my way," Michael asserted, stripping the fear from his voice. Face to face. No badge. A resolute fire within him began to replace the earlier apprehension. He needed to face Jackson as Michael, not Officer Graves, who had made mistakes. The stakes had become more than abstract biases. They were intertwined with his humanity. "Are you ready to risk it?" Jamal questioned, eyebrows raised, hinting at the intense weight of this decision. "Risking who I thought I was or how I was perceived. I'm willing to take that leap. I need to understand his perspective and untangle the emotions tied to my actions." Jamal nodded slowly, perhaps impressed by Michael's resolve. "Then set the meeting. Prepare to listen, not just hear. The dialogue may demand more than just solutions. It requires vulnerability." Michael felt a strange sense of catharsis washing over him as he envisioned the confrontation. He was ready to shred the layers of distance he had maintained from his own biases. Moving forward would mean grappling with his past, but the real choice lay in how he moved through it. As they wrapped up their conversation and the fluorescent lights flickered overhead, Michael pulled out his phone, ready to draft a message to Jackson. His fingers hovered over the keyboard, heart racing as uncertainty swirled with anticipation. And just before he pressed send, another notification flashed. A news report summarizing Jackson's life, revealing a twist that begged for headlines. The weight of another truth descended upon Michael, intertwining their fates with threads he had not yet anticipated. Could this next interaction unravel layers of mistrust or sow even deeper divides? The moment stood pregnant with opportunity and fear. Michael took a deep breath, knowing that whatever followed would demand everything from him, and in that charged silence he embraced the uncertainty that awaited. The path beckoned him forward into confrontations, enlightenment, and perhaps the redemption he desperately sought. Michael's heart raced as he absorbed the headline glaring back at him. The article revealed that Jackson was no longer just a victim of circumstance. He was a U.S. Marshal, involved in sensitive and high-stakes operations. Every detail felt like a punch to his gut. The man he had wrongfully targeted, a symbol of his deepest anxieties about bias and authority, was now an ally of justice, fighting battles Michael couldn't even fathom. His mind spun, weighing the implications of this new reality. What could Jackson possibly want from a conversation with him? Would he feel the need to confront Michael about the past, or would he dismiss it as irrelevance? The badge that once felt like security now weighed like an albatross, a stark reminder of how he'd failed an innocent man. Irrespective of Jackson's current status, as he paced the small apartment, the ticking of the clock amplified his anxious thoughts. Every step echoed louder than usual against the bare walls. The rage Michael had once associated with Jackson transformed into an urgency to understand. How many misconceptions had he carried into that arrest? How many judgments had blinded him then and still clouded his perception now? He forced himself to sit down and type out a message. "Jackson, I know it's been a while. Can we meet? I'd like to talk." The words felt like a tremor before an earthquake. Was he prepared for the backlash, the accusations, or worse, the silence? With a heavy sigh, he hit send and leaned back in his chair, hands trembling as his resolve hung precariously in the balance. Jamal's words echoed in his mind. Vulnerability was daunting, especially when admitting wrongs to someone who had a legitimate reason to harbor resentment. Michael needed to convey both remorse and an authentic desire to learn. That would require shedding the armor he invariably donned when faced with conflict. He waited, anxiety coiling tighter with each minute that passed. The lines between personal and professional were blurring in a way he hadn't anticipated. Inviting Jackson into this intricate dance of accountability forced Michael to confront not only the past but also the man he strived to be, which was still dangerously nebulous. Finally, his phone buzzed. The response was sharp, concise. "I'm willing to meet. Just you, no badge. Tomorrow, at noon, at the diner on 3rd. A flood of emotion surged within him. Relief battled with regret as he realized that Jackson had already drawn firm boundaries. No badge meant no authority. Just two men navigating the fog of their shared history. What would it mean to stand vigilantly aware of their differences? To bridge the societal chasms with honesty and intent? Michael felt as if he were standing at the edge of a precipice. The unknown loomed over him like a thick fog, tinged with the scent of potential redemption and the risk of wholly failing again. The questions were profound and unsettling. Had he the strength to listen, to truly absorb the weight of Jackson's story without defensiveness? In that moment, clarity pierced through his turmoil. Confronting the past was not merely about Michael facing Jackson. It was about dismantling the walls Michael had built to shield himself from facing his biases and shortcomings, opening the door for unfiltered dialogue. He realized the first step towards accountability could mean altering the very fabric of who he was. With trepidation, he considered the life lesson threaded through his anxious thoughts. True growth flourished at the intersection of discomfort and understanding. But as the time drew closer, a chilling uncertainty crept in. Confronting Jackson was just the beginning. What if this meeting did not lead to clarity but instead deepened the fissure between them? The clock ticked steadily toward noon. Each tick resonated loudly against the growing dread within Michael. He had prepared for a confrontation, yet he was still grappling with the reality of this deep-seated reckoning. He took a breath, determined to step into the unknown, ready to discover whether redemption still lay within his grasp, or if he would have to confront the stark possibility that some mistakes could never be erased. The moment had arrived to face his past, and the truth, whatever it may be, awaited him on the other side of that diner door. Michael entered the diner with cautious resolve, the aroma of coffee intertwining with the memory of countless meals shared in this very place. The walls, decorated with old photographs and faded menus, felt like a sanctuary for stories. But today, amidst the clatter of plates and distant conversations, his mind was singularly focused on confronting the past. He spotted Jackson seated at a booth in the back, a solitary figure engulfed in silence. It was a stark contrast from the bustling environment surrounding him. Michael's heart pounded, an echo of past fears and unspoken regrets. Jackson's presence was commanding, yet distant. He had the power to either rebuild their connection or shatter it entirely. With each step, Michael grappled with the twin forces of anxiety and anticipation, trying to muster the courage needed to embrace this pivotal moment. As he approached the booth, Jackson looked up, their eyes locking with a weight that transcended words. "Thanks for coming," Michael said, striving to keep his voice steady, but the tremor betrayed him. "Don't thank me yet," Jackson replied coolly, his demeanor unreadable. He waved for the waitress, ordering coffee without looking away from Michael. The silence stretched, heavy with the gravity of their shared history. "I've been reflecting on everything, on how I handled the arrest and the way I viewed you back then," Michael admitted, his vulnerability peeling back the layers he had so carefully constructed. "I can't change what happened, but I want to understand how it affected you." Jackson leaned forward, eyes narrowing slightly as he absorbed the weight of Michael's confession. "You think words can change what cops did to me? What that badge represents?" "I know it can't erase the past," Michael responded, feeling the jagged edges of truth sharpening around him. "But I want to confront it. I want to do the work, understand these biases that blind me." Jackson let out a sharp exhale, skepticism flickering across his face. "You say that now, but what's really stopping you from going back to that comfortable self? The one who issued orders without thinking?" The question struck deep, forcing Michael to confront the glaring truth. He had lived a dichotomy, wearing the badge that once felt like power, while now realizing it had also been a shield against understanding. "I'm ready to face myself, Jackson. I'm determined to redefine what my role is, and I can't do that without your perspective." The atmosphere shifted, tension easing slightly as Jackson mulled over Michael's words. "You have to realize that this journey goes beyond a single conversation. If you want to be different, you have to embrace it fully, even when it gets uncomfortable." "I'm prepared for that," Michael affirmed, a spark of resolve igniting within him. "I want to learn about your experiences. I need to hear your story, the struggles you faced. How did we get here?" Jackson studied him, perhaps searching for any signs of insincerity, but Michael remained steadfast in his commitment. "I want to listen," he repeated, "so I can truly become a better officer, a better version of myself." At that moment, a softening flickered in Jackson's gaze, unveiling layers of hurt and anger that had simmered beneath the surface for so long. "Fine," he said, his voice steadying. "If we're doing this, let's go all in." As their conversation unfolded, Michael felt as if he were witnessing a powerful unraveling of truth. Jackson spoke poignantly about systemic failures, personal prejudices, and the weight of being judged solely on the color of his skin. Every word felt like currency, valuable lessons laden with painful history. Michael listened intently, allowing the impact of Jackson's journey to resonate within him, igniting an understanding that transcended the badge's authority. He committed to not merely absorbing the information but also integrating it into his conscience. With every shared experience, the foundation of their relationship began to shift. Jackson unveiled the raw edges of his life, recounting encounters that had shaped him, times when he had felt both invisible and vilified. "You don't understand what it means to hear sirens behind you, always fearing the worst or to be used as a statistic," he said, voice thick with emotion. Michael nodded, empathy blooming within. It was a stark contrast to the perspective he had held while donning the badge. "You're right. he conceded, the weight of those 7 words grounding him in the moment. I've never experienced that fear firsthand. I want to change that narrative starting now. Their dialogue transpired with newfound intensity, a genuine interconnectedness bridging the chasm of misunderstanding that had previously separated them. As each layer of bias peeled away, Michael felt an unfamiliar sensation: freedom. The urgency to change came not from guilt, but from a genuine desire to redefine his path in law enforcement. "I'm ready to take action beyond this conversation," Michael declared, conviction resonating in his core. "Find a way to connect with the community, bridge the divides, and ensure justice truly serves everyone." In that moment, Jackson's eyes shone with a flicker of hope, a rare moment of vulnerability peeking through the armor he had carried for so long. "If you really mean that, it could change everything. But you'll have to commit to it." "I will," Michael affirmed, each word a promise. "This is my responsibility now. I want to conquer my biases and stand with the community." As they finished their coffee, Michael felt a profound sense of transformation taking root within him. He had confronted his past, bore witness to the perspectives he once dismissed, and established a foundation for true change. The conversation had not only redefined his understanding of justice, but ignited a passion for action he'd never envisioned. Emerging from the diner, Michael felt lighter, more like a man shedding the burden of his past self. He understood that this was only the first chapter in a lifelong journey of growth and healing. The path ahead would be fraught with challenges, but now he was armed with a purpose transcending his badge, and in forging this new identity, Michael felt something profound. The duality within him finally aligned. He was no longer just a cop. He was an advocate for justice, ready to dismantle the biases that inadvertently defined his history. This was his moment of transformation, a beginning fueled by honesty and born of connection. Now, to everyone watching, this is the moment to show your support. Subscribe immediately to the channel to ensure you don't miss the next exclusive emotional stories. Leave a like now to fuel the algorithm that brings us together. Comment below with your reactions and theories about the journey you just witnessed. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this powerful narrative. Don't wait even one more second. Help spread this message of personal growth and unwavering determination.